Welcome to True Word, Faith for Life with Dr. Shawn, where biblical truth comes alive through original languages, Hebraic content, and real life application. I hope you'll consider subscribing now. So let's dive into this word together. Today we honor the women who carried and carry and will carry life. Women who shaped hearts and stood at the crossroads of pain and promise. But we're not just talking about Hallmark cards and carnations. We're going deep into the life of a teenage girl from Galilee. Her name was Miryam. You call her Mary. But what the world forgets is that before she was the mother of Messiah, she was just a young 12 to 13-year-old girl. She was betrothed already, as was the custom, to Joseph. She was obedient. She was scared. And she was faithful. And today we're going to look at her life not through the stained glass filter of religion, but through the gritty, raw, and I might say awe-inspiring lens of Scripture, culture, and purpose. We'll meet Hannah, Yocheved, Ruth, and others. And we'll discover what it really means to be a godly mother in a godless world. Who was Miryam? Let's begin with a name, not Mary. Miryam. Same name as the sister of Moses, the one who danced in freedom after the Red Sea. It was a common name, yes, for sure. But nothing about this Miryam was ordinary at all. Luke 1:26 through 38, in the complete Jewish Bible, tells us she was in the Galilee in a town called Nazareth. She was a virgin betrothed to Joseph, a man from the house of David. And then Gabriel, the angel, shows up. Remember what I did? Do you remember when I did that? What are angels really about anyway? It's under the live tab or the video tab. It's under both the Rumble page and the YouTube page, wherever you're listening. Hello to our streaming audience, wherever you're listening as well. I hope you'll consider sharing this with someone who is important to you. So then the angel Gabriel shows up. Shalom, favored lady. Adonai is with you. She was greatly troubled, it says. But that's so light, right? That's so light. Greatly troubled. What was that phrase in Greek? Diatarasso. Diatarasso. That means deep inner turmoil. She wasn't flattered. As you'll remember from my teaching on what angels were really like and what they were about, she was terrified. And yet, she listens. She hears that she will conceive by the Ruach HaKodesh. The Ruach HaKodesh is the Holy Spirit. She knew that she was betrothed to Joseph. She knew that in the Hebraic communities, the Hebrew communities, this would mean shunning for her. Could even mean her death. But despite all that, she asked but one question, not out of disbelief, but logistics. She asks only, how? Then she says what still echoes through all of eternity, let it happen to me, as you have said. That right there, that's not weakness. That's not weakness, that's strength in submission. Dr. Moen, Dr. Skip Moen, I've taken so many notes. I have just notebook after notebook after notebook after notebook. And I mean 3-ring binder notebooks. 3 inches. It's kind of crazy. Because he wrote this and I remembered it. Biblical submission is not passive surrender, it's active allegiance. You might want to write that down. Biblical submission is not passive surrender. It's active allegiance. Miryam aligned herself with God's will at the cost of her reputation, at the cost of her future, at the potential cost of her life. Now, I've mentioned this before. Before, you might be wondering what that little box is with all the little squigglies up above the heart of a mother. The image there. That is a code. You just hold your camera up to it. A little link will pop up, and that'll take you to mdivs.edu, a landing page at mdivs.edu, mdivs.edu, Masters International University of Divinity. They're not a sponsor. I'm doing this for free. I don't get anything for it. You get something for it. If you tell them that Dr. Shawn Greener and the True Word Faith for Life podcast sent you, you'll receive 10% off your tuition for certificate programs. Maybe you want to just get your feet wet. See if you're up to it. See if you like it. What a way to start. Now, let's get into the Word. Luke 2:19. It goes like this. But Miryam treasured all these things and kept mulling them over in her heart. That word treasured. That word treasured in Greek is syntherio. Syntherio. Means to preserve. Not just remember. Preserve. To guard carefully. It says she pondered. Symbalo. Symbalo. It means to weigh. To compare. And to wrestle with. She didn't just nod and smile. She meditated. She questioned. She carried the mystery like a hidden flame. Imagine what it meant to raise the Son of God, to clean his cuts, to wash out his bruises, or wash out his cuts and put a little wet rag on his bruises, to teach him to walk, to celebrate his first Passover, to teach him words. And when he was 12, he stayed behind in the temple. She said, "Son, why have you done this to us?" Look, that's not disrespect. That's real motherhood. Organized religion has created this false image, this false icon of Mary as though somehow or another she was magical. No, she was blessed. But she was a tough mom. She was an amazing mother. And she was chosen because she is extraordinary in faith. God would have never chosen a woman who was extraordinary in faith, yet a terrible mother. Are you listening? Are you listening? My friends, do you understand? Do you understand this? Yes. She was an incredible woman. She is an incredible woman of faith. But what an amazing, amazing mother. Son, why have you done this to us? No disrespect. She was in it. She was in it to be the best mother she could possibly be. Now let's fast forward to the Gospel of John, chapter 2, one of my favorite things to teach. The wedding feast in Cana. How about this? Miryam notices that they've run out of wine. That was in the Greek, or in the Hebrew community, in the Hebrew context and culture, massive problem. Would have been massively embarrassing. Weddings were days-long celebrations in the community. Run out of wine, that's embarrassing. Wasn't her child that was getting married. The young lady that was getting married, the little Jewish girl that was getting married, wasn't marrying one of her sons, or maybe it was a cousin, who knows. We just know she cared about the woman, the other mom, and she didn't want her to be embarrassed. So she notices Miryam, Yeshua's Ima, his mother. She notices they've run out of wine, and she turns to Yeshua, her son, not in a demanding way, just knowing. She knew. And he replies to her, "What does this have to do with me?" Yet she says to the servants all around, "Do whatever he tells you." Boom. Mic drop moment. That's a mother. That's a mother who knows her son's mission. Tim Tebow has recently been interviewed in a long-form podcast interview by Dr. Jordan Peterson. A latecomer to faith, Dr. Peterson, and one of the greatest philosophers I think modern times have ever known. It's kind of cool. Tim talks about, or Timmy, as his mom and his dad and his dad say, Timmy, we still call him Timmy today. That child who was never supposed to make it on this earth, he was never supposed to survive. Mother was told to abort him. Don't do it. You're going to risk your life. Baby's not going to live, and if it does, it's only going to live a certain little tiny bit of while, and it's going to be awful, and it could kill you. She said, I will do as the Lord calls me to do. And there Tim Tebow comes along. And every day of his life, he heard from his mother, and he heard from his father, no matter what he was doing, God has called you for a purpose here. God has called you for a purpose here. You have a mission. You have a mission. You're not just playing football. You're not just playing basketball or baseball. You have a mission. All that other stuff that you might trouble yourself with, no. Your mission is bigger. Timmy's mom and Timmy's dad told him that every day, and they prayed over him. Father, let this child know his mission for you. And that is what Miryam, Yeshua's Ima, did for him. She knew his mission. Dr. Michael Heiser points out that even here, the spiritual realm is moving. This wasn't just about wine. It was about revealing glory. It wasn't remotely about wine. It was about revealing the glory of God through this virgin-born Son of God. And this miracle, this public miracle, would start a ticking time clock that would end with his dear Ima watching him be her son, her beloved son, be shredded, to be beaten, to be mocked, to be tortured, and then to be murdered. Miryam was not merely present. She was part of the prophetic unfolding. And what is the cost of a mother's love? Oh my, what is the cost of a mother's love? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever considered the cost of a mother's love? Some of you have paid that cost personally. You've paid that cost, and it's been horribly painful. Luke 2:35, the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2, verse 35, Simeon tells her, "And a sword will pierce your own soul too." I don't know if you've ever considered this. Miryam, Yeshua's Ima, his beloved mama. She didn't just raise him. She didn't just raise him. She watched him die. She cleaned the scraped knees. She undoubtedly wiped the tears from her little boy's eyes. She cleaned him. She washed him. She cared for him. She taught him. Much of his faith that was not divine in origin was taught to him and reinforced by his mother. Miryam, Mary, the mother of Yeshua, did not just raise him. No. She watched him die. John 19, verses 25 through 27. Yeshua on the cross sees her and says, "Woman, here is your son," and to John, "Here is your mother." And even in his final breath, he honored his Ima by looking after her, to seeing to it that she was protected. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the agony of watching your child suffer unjustly and still believe God is good? My friends, I know many of you who are listening are Gold Star moms. And you've gotten that call. You've gotten that notification. You've gotten that vehicle, that military vehicle driving up your driveway. And you knew what it was for. I did a workshop for Gold Star families. I wrote it in an ebook, and it's designed to be done over 3 or 4 days, but we generally did it in 2.5, 3 days. It's called Living Through Grief on Purpose. I've had to go make notifications of friends. I've had to make notifications to mamas who lived to teach and to love and to care for and to direct and to build their dear children. Mamas who they scraped together whatever they could scrape together when they went to boot camp. Their children went to boot camp and they were so nervous and so afraid, but they bit their lip and said, no. I can't let him see me worry. We were at war for 20 plus years. I think we'll always be at war. And I remember getting a call and saying, brother, we've learned that you know this person. Would you ever consider going with us? Could we ask you to do that? And I did. And I've watched the face of a woman who is strong and wise and loving and kind. I've watched that face come to the door, contorted and screaming and yelling in a voice I would never have attributed to her. I've watched them fall to the ground and scream and wail. Imagine, for 33 years, Miryam was Ima to Yeshua. She risked her life to have him. Can you imagine? And yet, it's not out of place to consider. She would ask, a reasonable person would ask, a person of great faith would ask, is God still good? Genesis 3:15 said the woman's seed would crush the serpent, and that seed grew in Miryam's tomb, in Miryam's womb. Dr. Moen calls her the embodiment of the Ezer Kenegdo, the strong, face-to-face ally, not a sidekick, but a warrior in spirit, a nurturer in flesh. I want you to take a deep breath. Heavy stuff. See, I understand. Those of you in chat, thank you for joining. Love you guys. Thank you so much for joining. It means the world to me. God bless you. I know this is heavy. Take a deep breath. If you're ready to go deeper in your biblical education, check out Masters International University of Divinity. www.mdivs.edu, mdivs.edu. Doesn't matter. Whatever you're pursuing, ministry, theology, biblical studies, you just want to go deeper. They offer lots of flexible, affordable programs for serious disciples. And a certificate program is a great way to get started. Mention my name, Dr. Shawn Michael Greener. They'll know who I am. Or scan the code on this screen. Get 10% off any of the certificate programs. You know, Miryam, She wasn't the only one. Miryam wasn't the only one. Hannah. 1 Samuel 1, she wept, she prayed, she gave her miracle child Samuel back to God. That's radical trust. That's motherhood. Can you imagine? That's motherhood. In a manner which I just don't know. Can you even imagine? Honestly, can you even imagine? She hid Moses for 3 months. She put him in a basket, a teva. In Hebrew, the basket she put him in, teva, is the same word used as Noah's Ark. Isn't that interesting? The vehicle which saved mankind. She gave up her son so that he could live. That's strategic courage. How about Sarah? Genesis 18 through 21. She was old, she was barren. She laughed at the promise. Then she laughed in joy when Yitzhak was born. Sometimes the journey to motherhood is full of doubts, and that is okay. And then there's Ruth and Naomi. Ruth was a Moabitess, an outsider. She clung to Naomi, saying, "Your God will be my God." And then she became the great-grandmother of David and a link in the Messiah's line. Sometimes motherhood is biological. Sometimes it's spiritual, but in every case it's holy. So what does it mean to be a godly mother today? My friends, it's not about perfection. My daughter has given me 2 beautiful grandboys. And she frequently talks about how she just wants to do them justice. She's always concerned and worried that, is she doing it well enough? It's not always about perfection. It's about presence, being fully present. It's not about control. It's about courage. It's about surrender and service and strength wrapped in humility. It's in the sleepless nights. It's in the silent, tear-filled prayers on your knees, pleading before God for your child. That is relentless love. Romans 16:13. What an interesting passage. Shaul or Paul says, "Greet Rufus and his mother, who has been a mother to me too." Did you know that? Did you know that was in there? Romans 16:13. Don't trust me. Look it up yourself. Greet Rufus and his mother, who has been a mother to me too. Spiritual motherhood. Listen, it matters. When Timmy Tebow and he was little, and he would get upset because he was an extremely competitive kid and he was a super gifted athlete, and he wanted to win. He wanted to give his best, and he didn't understand why the other kids weren't giving their best. And he'd go to his parents upset, frustrated. They'd say, "This is not your mission. Do your best." Maybe some of those other kids, maybe they don't have the same mission you have. You're on a mission for God. You were born for a reason. Listen to every mom listening today. Whether you're biological, whether you're adoptive, foster, spiritual, you matter. Your prayers shake heaven. Your patience reflect God's character. And to those grieving, and for those waiting for motherhood, he sees you. He sees you. Miryam was once an unknown, easily missed teenager. But heaven knew her name. So I speak this blessing over you. Yeverka Adonai Verishim Yereka Ye'er Adonai Panav Elecha V'chunecha Yisa Adonai Panav Elecha V'yasem Elecha Shalom. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he lift up his face toward you and give you shalom. Thank you. Thank you for joining the True Word Faith for Life with Dr. Shawn, where we teach the Bible as it was meant to be understood for a life that truly matters. Join us tomorrow, Monday, May 12th, at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. What were the Nephilim, Goliath, giants in the biblical truth that you have never been told? Join us, and don't forget to subscribe wherever you're listening. Come to the YouTube channel, True Word Faith for Life with Dr. Shawn, and click on subscribe and hit the little bell and thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you prefer Rumble, it's a great platform. Less anti-religion, less anti-God. Follow me there. Love to have you. May you be blessed. May you know how important you are to God and to this world. Happy Mother's Day. Shalom, shalom. Shalom alaikum.